Hello, Black Powder again, and today we're doing something a bit different. It's something that I've wanted to do for quite a while. I haven't played this scenario for a few years. We are doing Storm the Farmhouse, and this scenario represents the final assault on Haye Sainte in the Battle of Waterloo. So I'm going to be taking the French. Hayley again is going to be playing, and she has taken the King's German Legion. So I'll just run you through the setup and the scenario, and then we're going to get started. So, La Haye Sainte has been garrisoned all day, and all day it's been holding out against the French. The members of the King's German Legion have been holding it, and there's 4 companies of the King's German Legion and the light company from one of the line companies which are there. The whole lot are led by Major von Behring, who has command of the farmhouse. Just before the final assault, they took in the remnants of one of the Luneburg line companies who had been decimated by cuirassiers, so they're taking shelter, and they've also got some Nassau infantry who are assisting them as well. To go along with this, on the road further back, stationed in the sandpit, are the 95th Rifles. In the game they can't move from there, but they can take opportunity fire at the French as they advance. And then finally at the back there was a rocket battery which was able to lend a bit of artillery support. On the French side we have 6 units of French line infantry that have been ordered forward by Napoleon under Baron Schmitz to take the farmhouse. The fighting earlier in the day saw the French capture the orchard, so they have to first get into there and into the farmhouse. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units of line infantry, 2 of which are elite, which is the guys on the road and the guys on the far left. There's also a unit of engineers to assist with storming the farmhouse, and there is a unit of voltigeurs to give some skirmishing fire. Now, there are a few special rules for this scenario that make it a bit different from other Black Powder games. First of all, you are always considered to be within the command distance of your commander. The fight for the farmhouse was so desperate that they didn't worry about anything. They just wanted to take it. So the French had had enough of the King's German Legion by this point, and the King's German Legion are desperate to hold out. Now, the King's German Legion can get some reinforcements as the French start taking things. Some Hanoverians might turn up, but that's a big maybe. Other special rules that apply: there are defense points to give bonuses to saves while within the farmhouse, and there's also individual victory points for each area of the farm itself. So as you can see, Hayley is already deployed, and we have the remains of the Luneburg battalion in the kitchen garden, protecting the escape route. We have a company of the main King's German Legion light company in the middle of the farm. We have 2 companies defending the apertures here, and von Behring there, and there is also a unit in the barn. The barn is one of the main entry points for the French because the King's German Legion burned the doors for firewood the night before, so they have to defend that as it's quite an easy way in. There's finally the light battalion light company are protecting the farmhouse. So we'll get into it. I'm really looking forward to playing this, and we'll get started.
Haye Sainte. The one who wins the farmhouse wins the battle. Go on.
Right, so not a bad start for the French turn. So I don't know how Hayley's feeling. Just
want to confirm that this is what I get, yeah?
Yeah. So just to confirm, the skirmishers moved up, so they're going to be able to give fire down there. Part of the rules for the scenario are I can only fire at the King's German Legion once they started firing at me, except for the ones who are on the barricade. Also, at the start of the turn, you might have seen us rolling some dice. That's because the farm came under heavy artillery fire prior to the assault, and therefore we rolled to see if the barn, the stables, or the farmhouse catches fire for some added fun. So the line battalion moved up. The elite company marched down the road, but didn't quite get enough. I wanted to get a charge in, so they're going to be a very tempting target for the Nassau infantry. Engineers moved up behind them, hopefully to get to the gate. These guys, both these units, I wanted to get into the orchard. Both of them are just moved up, and as Hayley said, they're
Admiring the hedge.
they're admiring the hedge. Hopefully we'll get them in next turn. Over here, these two line companies have moved up. The elite company starting to threaten the barn. So we're just going to move in to shooting on turn 1 for the French. Okay, to kick things off, the Voltigeurs are going to fire on the Nassau infantry behind the barricade. They're going to get 2 dice. And they are hitting on 5s because of the cover. However, these guys do have the sharpshooter rule, so they can re-roll 1 dice. And I'll re-roll that one. Oh. Okay, that's all the shooting that the French can do, because there's no other visible enemies until they start firing, which I imagine is going to happen fairly soon.
Absolutely.
Right, we'll go into King's German Legion, turn 1. Fairly minimal movement. In fact, only one thing moved for the King's German Legion. One of the companies has moved in to the stables to help defend against those line infantry units that are moving up. So now we're going to move into shooting. Okay, so what are we firing with first?
Okay, so the Nassau infantry are going to fire at the column.
Okay, they're pretty good shots, so they're going to get 2 dice. And they're going to be hitting on 3s. It's actually worse. I'm going to be hit on 2s. I'm within 6 inches and I'm in a march column. So it's 2 dice hitting on 2s. One of the other special rules for the scenario to represent the ammunition running out in the farmhouse, when a unit rolls a natural 1 before any re-rolls on their shooting hits, they are starting to lose ammo, and that unit can only fire with 1 dice for the rest of the game. So the Nassau infantry is not great, but you do get to reroll 1 of those, needing... Okay, so 2 hits. As my unit are in march column, I need 2 saves of 6. 2 casualties on the unit already. Hayley, what do you fancy firing next?
Let's try these guys here.
Yeah, same unit?
Yep.
So it's going to be 2 dice hitting on 2s again. And you can re-roll 1. You don't need to.
No, I don't need
2 saves of 6 again. Or 1 save and 1 not so. That unit is now going to be shaken. Okay, so casualties starting to mount on these guys here, so they're already shaken. What about the next company, Hayley?
Yeah, so these King's German Legion are going to fire at the column again.
Okay, right, so this time they're going to need 3s to hit. And you can re-roll 1.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 hits and the 6 disorders them as well. 2 saves of 6 again. No, 2 more casualties and a disorder. Okay, so that unit has taken 5 casualties. They're disordered and they're shaken. So at the end of the shooting phase, they will be taking a break test. Moving on. Who are we going with next?
Okay, so these guys in here are shooting at the column out here.
Cool. I should probably say that just because when the unit is in the building, they're deemed to be at all areas within the building. So even though they're in the centre, they're deemed to be at the edges, so they can fire out. Okay, brilliant. So they're going to be in a march column, and you're in range. So it's going to be a 3 or more. That's 2 hits and a disorder. So I'm going to need 2 saves of 6 again. Nope. Okay, so a little bit of disorder over there. So all we've got left, I think, is the rocket.
Rocket, yeah.
Okay, so I enjoy rockets.
Your skirmishers,
Skirmishers, which okay, so you've got to pick the aiming point in the unit for it. So which guy?
Probably best to go for the middle.
The one who's kneeling down.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So a rocket rolls 1d6, needing a 6, or we get to roll on the fun table. Nope. So we're going to be rolling on the mishap table, and it's a 2. 2. The rocket is a dud and fails to fire or doesn't explode. That's good for me. Okay, so that's now time for me to take a break test. So my unit has a stamina value of 3. So they have 2 excess casualties. They're disordered and they're shaken. So that means I'm rolling at -4. So 2d6 -4, I need nice and high. 6 -4 is 2. They're off. Okay, so the first of my elite companies is gone. They took a lot of fire, so yeah.
Well, at least that's one less move you've got to make.
Yeah. Okay, so that's probably the best move round I've ever had. Everything moved. So skirmishers have moved up. Line regiment is formed on here to start its assault. Engineers are moving down the road. The French have moved into the orchard. These guys in line. These guys have formed an attack column to start the assault. Over here, the elite unit removed its disorder and has formed line to start its assault on this side with the other unit in support. So overall, pretty good. So we'll just move to shooting. So my skirmishers are going to fire at the Nassau infantry. So I'm going to be hitting on 3s because you're within 6 inches. And I can reroll 1. To 3. Line infantry, going to give fire on them. So 3 dice, hitting on 4s. And they're disordered. So 2 saves of 3 or more. Alright, 1 casualty as well. So casualty on that unit. Oh, we've put down. I had a couple of actual musket balls, so put that down to remind ourselves that can only fire with 1 dice now. The engineers they get 1 dice. They're just going to fire as well. They are hitting on a 4. 5. So that's a hit. And a save of 3 again. Damn it. Okay, so line infantry unit just here are going to fire at this unit here as a shot last turn. They're not a clear target, which is going to present me with a -1. My line infantry unit gets 3 dice, so I'm hitting on 5s. So the walls here give an even bigger bonus, so you get a +2 bonus for there, so you're going to be saving on 2s. My assault column can't fire, but my line at the front can fire back into the barn at the people that shot at it last turn. So it's going to be 3 dice. It's not a clear target, so I'm going to be hitting on 5s. Oh, that's a lot of disorder, a lot of hits. Barn gives a bonus of +1, so saves of 3. Oh dear.
2 hits.
So these guys are now shaken, disordered, and I don't think I've got any way of putting any more casualties on them this turn, but they're not in a good way. Not in a good way.
If you can't get yourself together inside a barn, true to history.
So true to history, right? So that is the end of the British. No, I'm not the British. The French shooting. Moving into King's German Legion turn 2. Not a great round. Not a great round for the Allies. So the Nassau infantry have made a disorderly retreat through the main gates. They've given up the defense of the barricade. They held out bravely. And to be fair, they did like see off my elite unit. So they've now retreated into the farm. The unit that was in the barn has retreated out, and the unit that was in the stables has now taken their place. However, the unit that was over here did not want to move, and could she get these guys moving either? No, so visit. However, you can, Von Behring can try to do a rally on me order to try and remove one of those casualties. Do you want to do that?
Yep.
Okay, so it's an 8 or less, and he'll remove one of the casualties, which will stop them being shaken. Ooh. 8. Yep, okay, so they are no longer shaken. Okay, so we'll move into shooting. What do you want to shoot first?
Okay, so I am a bit irritated at how terrible my rolling was and how people didn't want to move. So I think the best way to get over that is to just fire my rocket.
Okay.
That'll make me feel much better.
Where are you going to shoot at?
Let's have a look.
So technically,
These guys can range of those.
Yeah,
go for the ones.
Because these are skirmishers and don't present a clear target. Yeah, you can go for. So you're going to go for this line unit
I'm
here.
gonna go for that.
All right. Okay. So we're going to be.
There's the chance if they miss, they could still.
Yeah, it can scatter into them.
On the way back, so.
Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so 1 dice and you need a 6. No, so roll it again and we'll find out what happens on the chart. 3. I already know that's a dud. Okay, so what's the next thing to fire?
Okay, so these guys are going to get the next turn. They've been waiting a little while to get involved.
Pesky 95th.
And they're going to fire at these guys here. I'm just going to check they're in range.
So they have a range of
24 inches.
Yeah.
I think we're there.
Okay. Alrighty. So the 95th are brilliant shots. So they get 2 dice. They're hitting on 4s, but they're sharpshooters, so they can re-roll 1.
1 hit. I'm going to re-roll the 2. Another 2. So
1 save of 4. Okay, so skirmishers taking 1 casualty. Who should we fire with next?
Okay, these guys are going to come up. They can actually fire over the roof, so...
Yep, they're manning that
part. Go for your line at the back.
Okay, yep. Normally you have to fire at the nearest target. However, skirmishers don't present a clear target, so then you can elect to go there. So they're disordered, which is -1. So they're going to be 2 dice hitting... No, it's 1 dice, isn't it? Because of the ammunition.
Yes, yes.
So it's 1 dice hitting on a 5. Oh no.
Yes.
So that's disorder and 1 save of 4. Oh.
They're all drunk.
Yeah, I don't know.
When you see like this, like you're supplied with all these little sort of chairs and tables to lie them down.
Bigger.
They do. Okay, so who do you want to shoot at with them?
Okay, so these guys at the corner are going for the guys on the path.
Okay, going for the engineers. 3, 2 dice needing 3s. There you go. You can re-roll 1 dice, and also they're now low on ammo as well. That's what you. There you go.
That's what I get.
There you go. Disorder me. That serves you right.
That's what I get for trying to be cocky, isn't it?
So 1 save of 4. Saved, but more disorder. So the next King's German Legion unit.
Yep, these tucked down here. We're going to go for the line in the orchard.
Okay, so the line isn't presenting a clear target because they've got all the trees. So you're going to need 5s. Okay, and you can re-roll 1. That's a disorder and a hit. 1 save of 4. No. Okay, and then finally this unit over here.
Yep, they're going to go for the line at the front.
So you get 2 dice hitting on 4s. 2 hits, 2 saves of 4. Okay, so it's better shooting than orders. Over this side, you can see so skirmishers started taking damage. Disorder. But over here, the French advance is starting to push. So they're starting to close in. End of French movement, and not a lot on this side. Tried to get the skirmishers to move up towards the 95th. Didn't want to do that. These guys aren't elite, so they can't remove the disorder, so they've stayed in line. These guys are elite, didn't manage to move to disorder, so just made a disorderly retreat behind that line regiment. In the orchard, the unit in the assault column has begun its assault on there. Didn't quite make it far enough to actually begin the assault, so next turn, as long as they don't get broken. And then over here, this line regiment have wheeled round to start the attack. And I wanted these guys to actually move up, but they didn't want to do that either. So we'll just move on to shooting. Okay, so my skirmishers are going to return fire against the Nassau unit in there. So they're not a clear target, so I'm going to be hitting on 5s, and I can re-roll 1. Oh, that's a disorder. 1 hit. Save of 2. Saved, but they are disordered again. Line regiment are going to fire at that company holding there. So the French are going to get 3 dice, hitting on 5s. Oh, disorder and 2 hits. Both saved, but disordered. The assault column is going to fire with 1 dice at the other unit, and just see if I can get them disordered as well. No. And finally, my line regiment at the back are going to fire at the brave defenders in there. They're within 6 inches, but they're not clear targets, so that makes it even, so I'm hitting on 4s. And that's a disorder. 1 save of 3. No, a casualty as well. So at the end of French shooting, haven't managed to get rid of any units, but I have sown disorder quite a lot in here. So all these companies are elite, so apart from the Nassau unit, so they're going to be trying to remove that. So we'll now move into King's German Legion turn 3. Okay, so disorder got removed here, but not in the barn. Other King's German Legion troops have moved into the stables to try and give fire on the French over there. They can now, the skirmishers are in range of the building. The Lüneburg infantry, no, they're not the Lüneburg infantry. The Lüneburg infantry have decided to go out on the road and start marching down the road to give some fire. The light company are in the building. They're going to be giving fire as well. So it'll be interesting. We'll get into shooting. So what do you want to start with? The rocket?
No, I'm going to start over this side this time.
Oh, right. Okay, so what do you want to go with?
We'll start with these guys in the disorder.
Yep, firing at the line battalion. So they're within 6 inches. Yep. You're disordered, so that negates that. So you are going to be hitting on 4. So 2 dice hitting on 4s. 1 hit. You can re-roll 1 now. 2 saves of 4. 1 casualty. Okay, so who's going next?
These guys in the stable are going to go for the line again. Now they're shaking.
Okay, so that's going to be 4s. So 2 dice needing 4s. No, but you can re-roll 1. 1 hit. 1 save of 4. So going to be taking a break test over there in a minute. Who's going next?
These guys are going to go for the column in front.
Okay, so they're within 6 inches, so you can get +1, so 2 dice needing 3s. But you're firing at a column as well, so you're going to be hitting on 2s. Yep, 2 hits. Units in an attack column get a +1 bonus, because they're a bit braver, because it just represents men stepping over the ones in front, so I need 2 saves of 3. Okay, so next one.
So our 1-hit wonders here.
Yeah.
Going to go through the column as well.
Okay, so they're down to 1 dice. They're not allowed to disorder when they're only on 1 dice either. So hitting on a 2 again. Yep, that's a hit. And I'll be getting 1 save of 3. No!
Nice.
So who's going next? The Nassau?
The Nassau are going to have a hit at the skirmishers.
Okay, so they are going to be hitting on a 5. You do get to re-roll it though. 95th next.
Yeah, 95th are going to go for the
skirmishers again, so not a clear target. So you are hitting on 5s. You can re-roll 1 of those. Disorder and 2 hits. 2 saves of 4. Oh, 1 casualty, so they are now shaken as well. So skirmishers are shaken now as well. So who are you going to go for next? It's the
Do
rocket.
the rocket to your line in the middle there.
Okay, so hitting on a 6. No, and then you roll again, see what happens. 4. So a result of 4 is that the rocket scatters a bit. Oh, okay, and then just roll another d6. 5. Okay, so that result meant that the rocket basically veered off in the direction shown, which was over here, and exploded somewhere over here. That's the end of shooting. So my unit over there needs to take a test. They got 1 excess casualty, so 2d6 minus 1. 10. So 9. They are good. I believe they hold their ground. Right, so end of the British Allied, well, I say British, there's only 1 British unit in it, which is those guys. So end of the Allied turn 3, and... Okay, so brilliant round of movement for the French. So the engineers managed to get an amazing order roll, and they've started the assault on the main gate. This unit is moved up to support. These guys are still disordered, so they'll just be able to give some fire. The assault column in the orchard has launched an assault at the walls. This unit are just quite happy looking at the shrubbery. Over here, both formed assault columns, but one again managed to get an amazing roll, and they've begun the assault on the barn. So lots of close combat. Could be a pivotal turn. So first shooting, the skirmishers are going to fire back at the guys in the main farmhouse. They're not a clear target, and I'm disordered, so I'm hitting on 6s. Hey! And I get to re-roll 1. So a save of 2. Okay, so that's a casualty. Just point out the British haven't actually lost anybody yet. So next shooting, the line regiment are going to fire at the Nassau guys, who are actually all over the apertures. They're going to get 3 dice, and they are going to be hitting on 5s. Yeah, but fine, there's another disorder in there. And that's actually the end of all the shooting the French can do. So we'll move on to all the close combats. It's going to be quite bloody. Okay, so my engineers are going to assault the gate, so they get 4 dice, and because they're the engineers, they're actually dealing damage to the gate on 3s. So you need 2 saves of 5 for the gate. Okay, so it just takes 1 damage to it. It's got 2 left. Okay, so the assault column, I get 6 dice, and I'm hitting on 5s. 1. King's German Legion hitting on 4s. Nope. 1 save for 2 for the King's German Legion. Absolutely fine. The combat will continue next round. King's German Legion hitting on 4s. Oh, 2 hits. 3 saves of 3 for the King's German Legion.
Save 2.
Save 2, so 1 more casualty. 2 saves of 4 for the French. Another casualty on them. So over here in the barn, French again get 6 dice. They are hitting on 4s this time. That's better. Okay, so the French won the combat, even though it was equal wounds, 1 each. The French are supported to their rear, so they won by 1. But however, the British are testing anyway because they are shaken. So you're just rolling 2d6. Oh, they're fine. They just stand their ground. End of the French turn, and the pressure's really mounting on the defenders of Haye Sainte. But we'll see what's going to happen. So the only bit of movement was the brave or foolhardy wavering unit have marched down the road to give some fire. Everyone else is either locked in combat or they're staying at their firing positions. So who are we firing with first?
I'm going to start with the rocket, and we're going to go for the line, and the focus point is going to be the middle.
Okay.
Hoping to get some scatter there.
All right. Okay then. It's going to be 1 dice needing a 6. Right, roll it again. 3. It's a dud.
Damn it.
So moving round, who
We're
we?
going to go with the 95th. They're going to the line regiment there.
Okay. All right. So you are going to be hitting on 4s. Re-rolling 1 miss. Oh, it's a disorder. I didn't need that. Well, I didn't need 2 hits on him either, to be fair. 2 saves of 4 for the French. 1 casualty. Okay, who do you want to fire with next?
Okay, we're going to do for these guys. I did want them to go for the guys at the door, but I have to hit the closest target, so they're going for the line regiment there.
Okay, so it's going to be 2 dice hitting on 4s. Yeah, no re-roll on those ones. No, they're not as good as everyone else, so I need 1 save of 4.
No,
Ah.
another hit.
Okay, so 2 casualties, and then now who do you want to go with now?
It's these guys in here.
Yeah,
Again, going to go for the line.
for the line regiment. Okay, so that's going to be 2 dice needing 4s. And you can re-roll 1.
They get low ammo for that.
Yes, they do get low ammo. Thank you. And they were so
This is-
brilliant.
And they're now low on ammo.
So what was that? The
And that's how you
Nassau.
they're going to go.
The
shoot
guys
down
attacking
on
the gate.
guys on the gate.
All right. Okay. So you get 1 dice, and you're going to be hitting on a 3. No, no. But you get sharpshooter still.
To get to roll
Yep.
again. Yes.
Yep, that's a hit. I need 1 save of 4. Who are we going with next,
Okay,
Hayley?
the guys in the stables are going to go for this unit at the back
Okay,
here.
so they're not clear target. You're going to be hitting on 5s. So 2 dice needing 5s.
1.
And re-roll 1.
That's a 1.
So 1. That's all right. It wasn't your original
one
1.
hit.
1 save of 4. Yeah, I'll re-roll. Yep. Okay, so it's hand-to-hand combat, starting at the back with the French attack column and the guys in the barn. So the French get 6 dice and the guys in the barn get 4 dice. Sorry, that was 2 dice, not 4 dice. I lied.
Yeah, you look really sad about that.
Yeah, I know. I won the last round of combat, so I get +1. So I'm hitting on 3s. As Hayley's unit is shaking, it's hitting on 5s. That's even better. So 6 saves. Actually, it's 6 saves of 3 because you're in the barn.
Give me a little bit of a chance. 1, 2, 5. Save.
5 saves. That's ridiculous. Okay, so the French did 1 casualty. They have 1 unit supporting. The British, I've just realised, have a unit supporting, but the French still win by 1. So you have to take a break test. That's 2d6 minus 1 for the shaken and 1 for the excess casualty. So -2. They still hold their ground. So working out the combat over here, I've got my assault column. It was a drawn combat last time, so I'm just hitting on 4s. That's 4 hits. Hayley's hitting on 4s. Oh, okay. The reason we've got 2 different colours dice is because there's 2 different units fighting.
So that unit smashed it.
4 saves of 2 for the King's German Legion.
2 saves.
Oh, 2 casualties. That's gonna be costly. 2 saves of 4 for the French. 1 more casualty. So it's a bit irrelevant here who won the combat because both our units have ended up shaken. So we're both rolling break tests. Straight 2d6 roll for the French. Oh no! And for the King's German Legion. That's just ridiculous.
Hang in there. We're tough. We're tough. We're tough.
This is actually quite painful.
Do you need some help getting off the board?
All right.
So long.
All right. So still a close combat phase, so my guys still get to fight the door. So I get 4 dice hitting on 3s. It's 2 hits, and Hayley, you get 2 saves of 5 for the door.
Oh.
It's got 1 left. Stubborn defense. So end of the turn. We're going into the French turn. the attack in the orchard has kind of faltered. The brave defence of the barn can only last so long, and the door is going to give way. It's going to give way soon.
Doors are holding.
It's going into the next French turn. Some movement on the French turn. Mainly the assault has been renewed in the orchard back over here, and the Voltigeurs have moved to try and just give some fire so that the engineers can just get on unmolested. Over there, we're just staying put. However, I did manage a rally order and have managed to get that unit to not be shaken at the back, so we'll move into French shooting. Voltigeurs are going to fire at that ridiculously brave unit coming down the field, so they get 2 dice and they're going to be hitting on 5s because they're shaken. I get to reroll 1. Okay. Line infantry unit are going to fire at the Nassau men again. That's 3 shots hitting on 5s. Hey! 3 saves of 2. No more shooting from me, so we're on to the hand-to-hand combat. So we're going to start with the engineers, hitting the gate on 3. So 2 more hits, you need 2 saves of 5 for the gate. They're in! So fighting over here, French assault, and I'm hitting on 4s. And that's 4 hits. The first company are hitting on 4s. So that was 2 hits, and the other company is shaken, so they're hitting on 5s. 1 hit there, so 3 hits. 3 saves of 4 for the French. 1 casualty. 4 saves of 2 for the King's German Legion. That's another casualty. So the King's German Legion lost to combat, that unit over there, so it's testing -2. So 5, we'll just check out what that is. So they had to retreat 1 full move, so they've moved back over there where their commander is. However, I can't push forward because this unit isn't going anywhere, so I need to break through there first as well. So the combat over here in the barn, the French have 6 dice hitting on 3s because they won the last round. All but 2. King's German Legion get 2 attacks back, hitting on 5s. You can roll that one. Go on then, that's fine. Oh, alright, okay. 4 saves of 3 for the King's German Legion. Oh!
4 saved.
2 saves of 4. Hey, right, we'll just work out who won combat and take break tests if needed. We both have 1 unit supporting, we cause no casualties, it's an out-and-out draw. This is actually going a bit of the same way that the historical fight went, because they're giving such a good defence that the French are getting so agitated trying to get in. I think the French in reality called them the Green Devils or something similar, which is why it was so brutal when they got inside, because they gave them such hassle. Right, that's the end of the French turn, so moving into Allied turn 4. Not a great deal of movement. All that's happened is the Nassau men have charged into the engineers. So we're going to have a battle for the gate just there. So moving into shooting. So what do you want to have a shot with first?
Okay, I think we're going to start with the rocket.
Okay, who are you going for?
We're going for the line, hit point in the middle.
Okay, so hitting on a 6. Can we get a hit?
With this thing. Before the end of the game, we've got to get a hit with this thing.
Nope, so roll it again. Roll a 1. 4, okay. Okay, so we're going to find out what happened to that. Oh, roll the green one, sorry. Red. So it's going that way, and a result of 3. The rocket ended up over here where the green dice is, so it didn't affect anyone. So, sorry, no, not this time. Moving on, what do you want to fire with next?
I think we'll go with these guys on the road.
Okay, and your target?
The guys at the gate.
They're in close combat, so you've got to fire at the line.
The guys in the line then.
Okay. So 2 dice hitting on 4s. That's 2 hits. 2 saves of 4. 2 saves. Nice. So what about the guys in the house? Who are they gonna?
line.
The line again, so it's 2 dice. Oh no, they rolled a 1, so they get 1 dice. And you're hitting on 4s.
What?
1. You got sharpshooter, so you can re-roll.
What?
1.
Brilliant. I not shoot anyone.
There's no one they can really see. So, because this is a combat and they can't see over the things here. So, it's just that
These
unit.
guys can't shoot those because they're in
No,
combat.
so they can get a view on them. So, hitting on 4s. Double 6. So, it's disordered and 2 saves. 2 saves of 4.
2 hits.
Oh, no. That's really bad. That's all the shooting done. So these guys have to take a break test. So they're shaken, disordered, and have 1 excess casualty. So they're at -3. Oh, really? So I've lost that unit. So now the big one. It's the battle for the gate. So okay. So the Nassau unit get 2 dice. They are hitting on 3s because they charged. 1 hit. The French engineers are hitting back on 4s. Oh, just 1. Right, so we both need saves of 4. Okay, so we'll work out who won the combat. We both didn't cause any casualties. We have equal numbers of units supporting, so the battle for the gate is going to continue. So this one next. 6 dice needing 4s for the French. 2 dice needing 4s for the King's German Legion. 1 hit. 2 saves of 2 for the King's German Legion. Yep, of course. And 1 save of 4.
Oh.
Okay. And looking at it, so no support for the French. That unit can't support because they're in combat, so it's entirely drawn. So that battle will continue.
This one we haven't done.
Nope. So we're going to do that one over there now.
Shaking on there. Does that
Yeah, so the shaking gives you a -1, and I won the last round of combat. Did I win the last round of combat? Or was it just No, it was an all-out draw, wasn't it? So the French get 6 dice hitting on 4s. That's 3 hits. 2 dice hitting on 5s. No. 2 saves of 3. It's just a big old drawn combat again. So somehow they're still holding out. So we're going to move into French turn 5. So formed a line along here just to try and just shift some of this. Skirmishers have moved up to try and help over there. And that's it. So moving into shooting, skirmishers are going to fire at the unit on the road. So that's 2 dice needing 3s. Unbelievable. 1 hit and a disorder. 1 save of 4. Yep, so just a disorder. French line are going to fire at the same target. That's 3 dice, and they are going to be hitting on 4s. It's 2 hits. They're already disordered, so can't. So it's 2 saves of 4. Oh. Right, there's no more shooting, so we'll do their break test. These guys had the wavering rule, which meant as soon as they took a casualty, they had to take a break test. So normally they wouldn't be taking 1 because they've only hit their shaken value. They didn't take excess casualties, but because of the wavering, they are. So they are wavering, so it's -1 for the disorder, -1 for the shaken. So 2d6 -2. Finally!
Finally, that's the first thing you've ever taken from me.
So we're going to continue the battle for the gate. So I get 4 dice hitting on 3s this time. That's 3 hits. 2 dice hitting on 4s for Haley. That's no hits. 3 saves of 4. 2 casualties. So the French have won the combat, and they Nassau infantry have got to test. So they have 1 excess casualty, but they are now shaken as well. So it's 2d6 -2. Unfortunately, it was a retreat move, so the forces getting pushed back. The French are in.
The farmhouse is ours! Long live France!
Right, so we're going to do this combat. French get 6 dice, hitting on 4s. 3 hits. King's German Legion get 2 dice, hitting on 4s. 1 hit. 3 saves of 2.
Save.
I'll get rid of them. And 1 save. 4 for me. However, I think they might be taking a break test. So the French win by a bit of a dirty way, which is they have 1 unit supporting, so I win by 1. So it's just a straight 2d6 roll for that unit. 10, yeah, they hold their ground. The battle for the barn continues. 6 dice needing 3s. 2 dice hitting on 5s. None. 4 saves of 3 for the King's German Legion.
All saved.
Really?
Yep. All
Oh
saved.
no! Come on. That one over there is just ground to a halt. So that's the end of French turn 5. I think. Yeah. So Haley's elected to not move anybody. So what's your thinking?
Well, these guys are holding the stable very nicely. I think they probably wondered if anything's going on. These 2 units can still fire and they're in range of the guys at the door, so we're going to keep those where they are. These guys are happily in hand-to-hand combat and seem to be holding well. These guys in the farmhouse can still fire at the column over there, so I'm quite happy with their position. And the guys at the back here can still fire in the field, and obviously my rocket can still fire where I need it to go. So hopefully we're going to get a hit
Alright.
from that this turn.
Okay, so we might as well start with something. What do you want to start
I
with
think
then?
we'll start with the rocket.
Go on then. 1d6. Are you going for
We're
this
gonna go for the
unit?
column.
Middle, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go for the middle.
Come on. You need a 6.
Oh, it's a 5 every time.
Okay, roll again. 1.
4 again.
Ah.
Where's my arrow dice?
That's going to be going off this way. And a 1. So let's see what happens. So that lands 6 inches away. So it lands about here, but doesn't affect that unit. So next unit that's going to shoot.
I think we'll do these guys here.
95th
Yep.
at skirmishers. So you get 2 dice. -1 for foreign skirmishers. So it's 5s. 2d6 needing 5s to hit. Rerolling 1 miss.
5 and a 1. That was. I don't know if you saw.
Oh yeah, no, that's all right because they weren't in the farmhouse. They had ammo. They were given ammo. The people in there just weren't. 1 save of 4. Saved.
So guys at the house are going to fire at the line.
Okay, so that's 1 dice and you're hitting on a 4. A sharpshooter, so you can re-roll.
Yes.
Oh, 6, but they can't disorder because their ammo thing. 1 save of 4. Okay, who's going to fire next? You've got these. Look, I like these are getting pushed back and back and back.
Okay, we'll go for these guys.
I'm going to fire at the engineers.
Yes.
All right, so you're going to get 2 dice. You're -1 because you're shaken, so you are hitting on 5s. And you get to re-roll 1. That's fine. Oh yeah, and then they're out of ammo as well now as well.
Brilliant.
And the Nassau at the same people. So
Yep.
1 dice hitting on a 5 as well.
Yep.
You can re-roll it.
Come on.
Yeah, that's a re-roll. Oh, nah, come on. Oh, you're all right. Fine. Save of 4. Nope, a casualty on the engineers. Haley's asking if we can fire from the stables at this way, but yeah, I think they can because there's 2 levels and they're on the roofs as well. So it's meant to represent them being on the roofs. So yeah, so you're going to get 2 dice hitting on 4s, and you can re-roll 1. 1, and I get 1 save of 4. Yeah, that's fine.
Worth a try.
Close combat on the wall. 6 dice to the French. Again, they won the combat last time. They are hitting on 3s. 2 dice hitting on 4s. 4 saves of 2. One of them again. You've lost the combat again, though. Because you've lost by 1. So that's a straight 2d6 break test. Oh, really? Unbelievable. And the big combat at the barn. Can this really go on another round? 6 dice hitting on 3s for the French. 2 dice hitting on 5s. 1 back. 3 saves of 3 for the King's German Legion. Unbelievable. I need 1 save of 4. Huzzah. Again, drawn combat. You just cannot get... it's ridiculous. So, that's the end of the Allied turn 5. French final turn. So, French movement, the only bit of movement is the engineers charged Major von Beering and his unit, and then the line unit that's out on the road has moved in. So the farm is now swarming with the French. Over here, this is going to continue. This unit here are now completely cut off, so it's a bit of a last stand there for them. So we'll do the one bit of shooting that I've got, which is the sharpshooters are going to fire at the 95th. So they get 2 dice, then -1 because they're shaken, -1 because it's an obscure target, because they're in cover. I'm hitting on 6s. 1, so disordered, and you need 1 save of 3. No, casualty. So the engineers have moved in, they charge, so they get +1 to hit. So get 4 dice, hitting on 3s. King's German Legion are fighting back, but they've got von Beering, who adds 2 20 combat. He's in. So you've got 4 dice, but you are shaken, so you're hitting on 5s. 1 as well.
Yeah.
1 save of 4, which was a 1. This just went a little bit before the camera. So 1 casualty for them, 1 save of 4 for the French. French save.
I don't really get a last turn then.
Well, we'll find out. So we'll work out who won the combat. I've done 1 casualty. I've got 1 unit in support. Shaking units can't support, so I win the combat. So you'll be taking a break test anyway. So you're now taking a break test. You're -1 for the 1 excess casualty and -1 because you... No, it's just -1. So you're 2d6 -1. I think that's a retreat. I think the only way they can go now is actually out the building. I think they're going to have to go out through the farmhouse. We shall see. So much like what happened historically, they've now made off through the passageway that was through the farmhouse, back through the kitchen garden, back towards Wellington's lines. It looks like the French are going to get in. So we're going to go with this combat. Hayley's going to get 2 dice for the combat, and she is going to be hitting on 4s. I'm going to get 6 dice hitting on 3s. Go on, Hayley. 1 hit. 4 hits. All right, 1 save of 4. No, it's a casualty. 4 saves of 2.
All saved.
Oh, right. So 1 casualty for me, so that's 1 point for them. However, I am assaulting, and I've got support of 1, so that's a draw. Right, I just can't get over that wall. So it's the fight in the barn again, hitting on 3s. 2 dice hitting on 5s. 2 saves of 4 for Hayley.
1 save.
1 save. 1 casualty, so that's going to be a break test. 1 save of 4.
Yep.
Safe. So it's going to be 2d6 -1. Come on, they must go now, surely. God's sake! Unbelievable. So the last French turn, they've held on. My only hope now, I've got part of the farmhouse, is to win the combats in Hayley's turn and then sweep in and occupy the buildings. So we'll go on to...
You're waiting for me to mess up.
Yeah, but pretty much. So the only bit of movement, as the kitchen garden counts as 1 sort of unit, they can move anywhere within it. So they're going to basically pop a shot over at the skirmishers.
Yep.
Over here, the Nassau men are making a brave last stand in the courtyard against a sort of wave of French that have burst in. What do you want to start with?
I think...
Oh, we should have rolled to remove the disorder. So on 4 up, that disorder goes away.
1 dice?
Yep.
3.
3. Okay, so it stays. So what do you want to start with? The rocket?
We'll start with the rocket and we'll go for the skirmishes.
Okay, so...
centre point being
the centre?
the centre and
Yeah.
the target, yeah.
6 then to hit.
Come on. Yes!
No! So they're automatically disordered, and I suffer a -2 to my save, so I'm saving on 6. No, so that's another casualty. Oh, these guys are going to be testing. So I'm disordered, that's -1. I've got 1 excess casualty, that's -2, and I suffered the hit from artillery, so that's -3. Unbelievable. So they've gone. So there's nothing now for these guys to shoot at or for the 95th to shoot at. So I guess that moves us into close combat.
No,
Oh no, there's shooting here, isn't there?
three
Yeah.
shooting to do.
Yes, there's no combats. Okay, so who do you want to start with?
Let's start with the people in the.
All right, so they're going to fire down. Who are they firing at? The engineers or the line battalion that went in there?
Well, I'll probably leave the engineers because they've got no one to close combat with. So we'll go for the guys with the guns, I think.
All right, okay, so you're going to get 1 dice and it's hitting on a 4.
Yes.
Yep, and that's 1 save of 4. That's the wrong dice. Oh, that's a casualty. That's shaken me, and now the Nassau are opening fire. So that's 1 dice hitting. Well, they're gonna have to go. They have to go for the engineers. Really, if we look at it, there's no way the engineers are getting out of that way, out of that line of fire. 1 dice. They're in 6, so it's gonna be hitting on a 3.
Yep.
1 save of 4. Yeah,
Nice.
that's a save. Now we're on to close combat. No, we're not. The ones I keep forgetting about in the stables over there are going to fire. Who are they going to shoot at? The engineers, basically, because they're in front. So 2 dice hitting on 4s.
4 and
Oh,
6.
no. Oh, another casualty, but that's shaken them. So that's shaken. So close fourth time running?
Yeah.
3rd time going? I can't. I don't
3 or
know.
4.
All right, 6 dice. Hitting on 3s. 2 dice hitting on 4s. 5 saves of 2. What's that?
4 saves.
4 saves, 1 not.
hit.
So take a casualty. French win the combat by 1. So that is that's a break test, but you've got no minuses. So just straight up 2d6. Unbelievable! This
Fine.
whole thing is ridiculous.
Battle of the Barn.
Battle of the Barn.
Battle of the Barn.
Right, 6 dice, needing 3s to hit. 2 dice, hitting on 5s.
Saving them.
4 saves of 3. That's 3 casualties. Okay, so it's definitely a break test for the King's German Legion. So they've got 1, 2, 3, 4 excess casualties. So 2d6 minus 4. At last! At last! Yes! So, French have rushed in. I think the French have taken the barn. So, that's the end of the game. We're going to work out victory points because each of these buildings has different points values. Plus, there's values for the units that have been destroyed. So, we're going to work it out and we'll get straight back to you. And we'll find out what's happened. Right, that was awesome, brutal, just like the day itself would have been. So we've added up the points. So the French got 4 points for units that it destroyed, 1 point for the shaken units. They own the barn, which is worth 2 points, the main gate, which is worth 4 points, and they took the abattis, which was worth 1, giving them 12. The Allies got 7 points for units destroyed, 2 points for units shaken. They own the farmhouse for 3 points, the kitchen garden for 3 points, and the stables for 1 point. And if you've been following and doing maths, that means that the King's German Legion finished on 16. So, yeah, that is 2-0. So, yeah, that's a win again for Haley. But no, it's just an awesome game, and you're getting the hang of it.
Things you shouldn't let your wife get involved with.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of starting to regret that now. But what do you think? What do you think of Black Powder?
I do. I really enjoy it. I was saying to you earlier that I like the fact that even on my go, I'm rolling dice. On your go, I'm rolling dice. So it's sort of keeping you interacting the whole time.
Even if those dice are are killing me.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah,
that's even better. But obviously playing many types of games with Martin, I'm not very patient at waiting for my turn, which is probably why I haven't played anything like this before. But I really enjoy that. There's a lot of interaction on both turns on both sides. So.
All right. So, see, if I won this, I was going to say we should do best of 3 and then to someone else, but I'm going to have to.
retire now. Or?
No. You've still got a lot. We don't know how long this is going on for. We've still got another 2 weeks at least.
They might extend it for another 2 weeks.
Right then, brilliant. Well, I hope you guys all enjoyed this. I'll hopefully have a couple more battle reports up soon on some other games as well. But in the meantime, I hope you're all keeping well, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers.